Right, before we test things up, there is something that we have to do in here. So let's go back to IntelliJ, and in here, so we have one interface, so customer repo, and then we have two implementations. So customer repository, which implements customer repo, and then we have customer fake repository. There we go, here, right? And then here we giving it a name. So what we're going to do here is the following. Let's go back to customer and then service. And in here, this is telling me that, so could not auto wire, there is more than one bean of customer repo. So what we have to do is actually say that we want to inject, so add and then qualifier. There we go. And then here I'm going to say fake. So remember, so if I can put this like that, so you see everything properly. So fake, so this name right here corresponds to the one inside of the fake repository. So this one. So we want to inject this implementation right here instead of the customer repo, because in here we said that we have a to-do and we haven't implemented anything. And what we want to do is say that this is our primary implementation. So say add and then primary. There we go. So now if I start the application, there we go, things are up and running. And if I send the request again, you can see that now we have two customers. So we have James Bond and Jamila right here. So this is awesome, right? So this is picking data from the fake database, but eventually we will switch this to Postgres or MySQL or H2, whatever database that you want, and that data will actually be coming from a real database. So what I want to show you here, is for us to switch implementations is very easy, right? Because we have one interface, two implementations, and at the point that we inject, the interface, we can say, right, so in here, so let me put this full screen. In here, I can remove that. And also remember, I said that using @ and then auto wire is optional. So auto wired, you can use it or not, depending whether you want. I actually prefer to use it because I like things to be documented. So now if I restart the application, so we're not using any qualifier anymore. This now should return. So if I go back to my web browser and if I send the same request, you can see that now we have an empty array. And this is because the primary implementation, so customer repository returns an empty list. So in fact, let's actually steal some code. So here, and then go back to the primary implementation, and I'm going to paste that in, and that's extra there. And what I'm going to do is just delete that customer, and then I'm going to have basically here, I'm going to say to do implement real DB, and here I can just replace this with singleton list. And if I restart, so now instead of seeing an empty array, we should see basically this message right here. So if I go back and then send the same request, and there we go. So you can see that to do implement real database. So you can see how easy it is for us to switch implementations. So usually this is something that you want to do, and obviously we've done it inside of the repository, but this will work for your service classes as well. It's a really good idea to start thinking about implementing two interfaces because sometimes you might want to switch implementations in the future, or there should be two implementations that the client can choose from. So this is when implementing to an interface is super powerful. And also this ties together with dependency injection. Now our code is easily testable, as you will see later in this course. If you have any questions on what we've done, please drop me a message. Otherwise, let's move on.